the worst I have felt about a Lions loss since the 2016 playoff game where the Detroit Lions lost to the Dallas Cowboys, and what many people believe was a missed pass interference penalty by the officials.
Right.
It was.
As the reason why they lost. I'll tell you, Braylon.
Not the interceptions or the fumbles.
I was sick to my stomach about this. It affected my day. They had the game won, and Dan Campbell, the gambling man, as he is affectionately known, he somehow, some way decided to pick the worst option you could possibly pick. If I know, sitting at home, that you either go for it.
The couch coach.
Couch coach.
Okay, couch coach.
You either go for it or you punt. Try to get him inside the 10. How doesn't he know that? How do you end up deciding to kick the field goal, which, by the way, would have been a career long for Austin Seibert, or Seibert, however you say his name.
He missed, so it doesn't matter.
And even if he makes it, a touchdown still beats you. It was flat out malfeasance, incompetence by Dan Campbell. And what compounds it, Braylon, is that, my goodness, there was a timeout called, so he had time to think about it.
Right.
Just disgusts me.
This is where I'm at with it. I start here by saying, on the positive side of things, I'm happy that the Detroit Lions are scoring points. Like, one of the biggest things the Detroit Lions haven't done in their tenure, I'm talking about since I was a kid, is they didn't score in the first half. Like, every game, as in this one too, it's another exciting Detroit Lions loss, but at least they're scoring points in the first half. I just had to get that out before I forgot. Now, with that being said, you got to learn how to win in this league. You look at the teams that win consistently, it's because they keep the same offenses in place. They keep the same players in place to a certain extent. They keep the identity and integrity. Dan Campbell's team, they're learning how to win. Obviously, they gave the game away at the end, but they're in the space of learning how to win. Dan Campbell told us a year ago, before the season started, before he ever coached his first NFL game as a Detroit Lions head coach, what did he tell us? He said this is going to be a 3-year process. A 3-year process until winning. Now we watch Hard Knocks. You saw the draft, and everybody gets excited. They're thinking above the pace. It's like, oh, well, I mean, you know, it's here. We actually can win this year. We can be a 10-win team. You still got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to close games out. You got to learn how to finish games out. You got to have the right amount of trust in your quarterback, in your defense, etc. They're a team that is getting better, but Matt said it perfectly before we even got on the air. He said it was interesting to watch this game because it's the same old Lions, but it's not. And I give Maz a lot of credit. He said that, and that's exactly how I felt watching the game back. It's like, it's not the same Lions, but at the end, they're still losing. The Lions have been losing close games for 15, 20, 30 years. That's nothing new, them losing close games. But they're in games. They're scoring in the first half. So I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying it takes time to learn how to win in this league. And Dan Campbell said 3 years, and we're in year 2.
My problem, Tom Mazaway, is that the Lions did figure out how to win that game. It was the coach that blew it for them. You cannot have your coach blow a game for you like that. And the coach, in my opinion, blew that game.
Nah, he didn't really blow the game. It's just that's the icing on the cake. There are a lot of things that they could have done differently. How about on the 4th down prior to that? It was 4th and 2 inside the 50-yard line. Jamal Williams is in there because our other guy can't stay healthy. Doesn't matter what the hell it is. He just can't stay healthy. And that sucks. That depressed me to begin with. But Jamal Williams is in there. He's a straight-ahead bulldog runner. He's a goal line guy. And you're running this guy, and the whole right side of the field was open. All he needed was 1 yard, 1.5 yards. And instead of taking it outside, and he had it, he took it right into the Viking defender like he was going to push 2 guys down. Bulldozing. Not even close. I want you to look at that play again. Go back and look at that damn play again. That's the game. Because they drive there, they get a field goal there, and they break the Vikings back. That was before the Vikings were even close. They were still stuck 10 points at that time.
Yeah, but
to me, that one hurt them. And then at the end, when the Vikings were driving down the field, I forgot how much time was left. Just under a minute.
Minute 14 to go when they got the ball back, I believe.
He called a timeout as the Vikings were driving. Instead of just letting them, they were going to spike the ball. They were going to stop the clock. And he called the timeout like he did against freaking Baltimore last year. To me, that was worse than going for the field goal, giving Minnesota all that extra time. And then, of course, the blown coverage. That's not the coach's fault, the blown coverage.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know what Jamal Williams, you know what type of runner you have in that guy. Jamal Hills, I mean, you just called it. Jamal Williams is a guy that's going to put his foot in the ground. He's going to head it up in there. He's a physical runner. He's a hard runner. He's not the guy that's going to go to the outside and see more there and, you know, like the vision of a DeAndre Swift or the vision of an elite running back. You know, it is a fall off from DeAndre Swift to Jamal Williams.
Big time.
Although he runs hard, I mean, he's not DeAndre Swift. No matter how you slice the dice. The other thing for me, the big thing is it's the second half and especially the fourth quarter giving up points. Like that's something you cannot do. If you look at the Philadelphia Eagles game, and they gave up 14 in that game. You look at the Commanders last week, they gave up 27 in the second half to the Commanders. And then you look at this one once again. Here's the Minnesota Vikings scoring 14 in the fourth to win that game. So they got to shore up their second half, especially their fourth quarter defense. You got to want to win. Like being ahead in the game and just hoping you hang on to a lead is not winning. Like being behind, but being behind by so much against like the Philadelphia Eagles where you're like, all right, well, we'll try to come back. Yeah, you're scoring points in the fourth quarter, but you're not scoring points when they matter. You're not believing that you can win this game. Just like we talked about on Friday, talked about expecting to win, going to Minnesota, knowing that they're struggling and expecting to win. The reason why they came back and that game got away from them is because they weren't expecting to win. And when you expect to win, you coach different and you play different.
There's no way they lose that game. That game was the Lions' game. There's no possible way they could have lost that game.
Except for how it happened.
Yet they did.
And
that break, and I'm with you, that really broke me, and it ruined my day. I was coming home from Chicago, stopping at Grand Valley to see my daughter Abby, and I got the phone, and it's crystal clear in front of me. It was just like watching TV, watching it on the phone. And I could not believe what I was watching. I could not believe it.
I didn't watch one play of football after that game. It sickened me, that game, because that was the definition of same old Lions. Yeah. And it's real hard when you think things are different. It's real hard to tell somebody that it's not.